I'm Doug Brown. Joe Mixon of the Bengals is found not guilty today on a charge of aggravated menacing after an alleged road rage incident in January. A woman said Mixon pulled a gun on her. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Colts wideout Ashton Doolin will miss the season with a torn ACL. He goes on IR after getting hurt during Wednesday night's practice. If the Browns are hoping to be a playoff contender, quarterback Deshaun Watson needs to be a big part of that. ESPN's Jake Trotter.
They didn't trade 3 first-round picks and pay $230 million fully guaranteed to get 75% of Deshaun Watson in year 2. And 75% of Deshaun Watson, as good as he was in 2020, I mean, where does that rank in the quarterbacks in the AFC?
Jake Trotter. White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson gets his 6-game suspension cut to 5 after that brawl with the Guardians almost 2 weeks ago. Golf, first round at Olympia Fields, second event of the PGA Tour playoffs. Brian Harman, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and Sahith Theegala share the lead at 4 under par. Fitzpatrick in the clubhouse with a 66.
You don't need special gadgets to be a hero. With unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, everywhere, the Capital One Quicksilver Card makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Alondra Villarreal. Musa. A decidedly different vibe between the two of you. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers are back on the practice field today. No media availability, although we will take you out to L.A. Mike Triplett, hour number 3. He's with the Saints, who had a joint practice with the Chargers. Matt Scannell next hour, who is the lead singer of Vertical Horizon. Oh, Muse, you want to talk about continuing our convo yesterday of pop culture references that make sense to me and not you? I am so jacked
I know
for
who
this.
Vertical Horizon is.
Alondra knows Vertical Horizon. Alondra, grab the mic real quick. Alondra is a 40-year-old trapped in a 25-year-old's body. Oh, she's even wearing a flannel shirt. She is as grunge as grunge can be. I love it. Are you going to see Vertical Horizon on Saturday?
I'm gonna go out of town, so I'm not. Right. But Jacques did offer me to
go. Jacques Doucet, WAFB, does a great job with Red Rock and Blue. A variety of fundraisers he does supporting military charities, the softball tournament, the kickball tournament, the former celebrity softball game, and he does a concert series as well. So Vertical Horizon at the Varsity this weekend. So I'm excited about that, man. Know a ton of Vertical Horizon music. Matt Scannell's been their lead singer since they formed back in 1991. So excited for that conversation about 90 minutes from right now. LSU did practice today, Thursday. They'll practice again Friday. No media availability Thursday or Friday, but LSU will wrap up fall camp on Saturday in Tiger Stadium with a full scrimmage. And the media is invited to attend the scrimmage. So that's going to actually be pretty cool that we'll get to go watch a full-scale scrimmage, something we got to do a couple of times last year as well, once on the practice field and once in Tiger Stadium. So we will have a much better sense of how things look when they get into more game-like scenarios on Saturday. And, of course, we'll give you a full report on that. But I wanted to take the opportunity, though, now that they are essentially through the fall camp portion, the preseason portion, because, look, classes begin on Monday, and that's when LSU is full bore toward Florida State. I mean, that's basically like a 2-week preparation for your opener when you start to work on implementing game plan and getting ready for Florida State. So I wanted to take the opportunity today, since we don't have a practice report, to kind of take account of what we've seen so far in fall camp, and then also kind of look at the season. And our buddy Chris Lowe over at ESPN.com did a piece today where he looked at everybody in the top 25, their realistic best case and worst case scenario. So, like, what's your ceiling, what's your floor? And it's interesting because a year ago, I was probably one of the way that I termed my expectation for LSU a year ago. And remember, LSU's projected win total opened in Vegas a year ago at 6.5. I think when the season started, it might have been, you might have found some 7.5, but basically Vegas was looking at LSU as a 6-6, maybe a 7-5 football team. Okay. And there were a lot of people around LSU, fans, et cetera, who had grander expectations. Remember what context matters so much. I know I say that a lot, but you got to remember what Brian Kelly inherited, okay? I mean, you were coming off back-to-back 500 football seasons. You had half of a roster, essentially. It was a steep climb. And there were not many people high on LSU a year ago. The narrative about Brian Kelly was laughing about him dancing and the family thing and all that stuff. And it didn't start great. Remember, they lost to Florida State, and then they kind of caught fire later. But my feeling on LSU a year ago, as I said, was I thought their ceiling was lower than most LSU fans would like, but their floor is higher than what most national people are saying. I said I thought their ceiling a year ago was 9-3, and their floor was 7-5. There were a lot of people saying LSU was going to go 5-7, 4-8. I just didn't see that as a possibility. There was still talent. You had a veteran quarterback. You had a really good coach. So I didn't see that floor being that low. And of course, I said, look, split the difference. Let's say 8-4, which is where I picked them. They ended up going 9-3. So where might they look this year? I'll play the ceiling and the floor game already. Now, I've already given you my prediction on the season. Okay, I've told y'all that I think this team goes 11-1. Everyone asks, what's the one game? I don't know. I don't know what the one game is. I just know it's really hard to go undefeated. LSU could lose the opener. They could stub their toe in a game like at home against Auburn. Just like last year, no one really anticipated LSU losing to a 4-win Texas A&M team, but they did. The SEC's hard. LSU could lose at Bama. Somewhere along the way, I think they'll drop one, but I still think they're going to go 11-1. I think this team will be in the playoff. Chris Lowe gave a best case, worst case. The best case, he said, was making the college football playoff semifinal. He does not think that LSU can get to the championship game, but the best case being the semifinal. The worst case, so floor, he has them at 8-5. And the losses, he says, Florida State, Ole Miss, Bama, Texas A&M, and losing in the bowl would be the worst case scenario. I'm actually going to go a little different there. So obviously, being what I've told you what I think my ceiling is for this team is, what I think they'll do is 11-1. The ceiling is national championship. The ceiling is undefeated. And that is realistic. I'll remind you, if you look at point spreads, or initial point spreads for this team, LSU is favored in every single game except the road game at Bama. That's not to say they're going to go 11-1, win them all except the Bama game. I don't know how the season's going to play out, but the point is, you can look at that schedule and say LSU is going to be favored in every game they play except one. And that one is against a team that you beat a year ago that has major quarterback questions. That's replacing both of its coordinators. So, yeah, I mean, 12-0 is completely, ceiling. Yes, this team could win all of their games. That is a possible outcome for this team. Floor, and I'm not going to go into what the bowl record may be, right? Because you don't even know who you're going to play in a bowl game or where you're going to play in all the scenarios that may unfold. I think the realistic floor for this team is 7-5. I'm not telling you I think they go 7-5. I'm telling you that's a realistic floor. Could LSU lose to Florida State? Yep. Could they drop one of the road games to the Mississippi schools? Yep. Could LSU lose at home to Auburn? We've talked about this before. I think Auburn today announced Peyton Thorne as its starter. Hugh Freeze is a great coach. His previous jobs, he's a nut, and got that team into a bowl game year one back in 2012. That Auburn team, by the way, when they come to Baton Rouge, they will be coming off a bye. LSU will be coming off of back-to-back road SEC games. That could be the spot on the schedule where you circle and go trap game. Could LSU lose to Bama? Yes. Could they lose one of Florida or A&M at home? Yes. So if you split the Mississippi schools, you split Florida A&M, you lose at home to Auburn, you lose to Bama, you lose to Florida State, you're 7-5. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, to be very clear. But if you're talking about everything goes wrong, what's the floor? I think that's it. I think that's the bottom for this team would be a 7-5 season, which would be a massive disappointment. But if you find yourself in a whole bunch of close games and they don't go your way, sometimes that's how it works out. I'll remind you, that happened to Brian Kelly back in 2016 at Notre Dame. In 2015, they won 10 games. They were 10-3. In 2016, the bottom fell out. They went 4-8. And that was the worst season he had in his entire coaching career. And Notre Dame lost a handful of games by less than the touchdown. It was just they blew fourth quarter leads and they let late leads get away and they lost a whole bunch of close games at the end and they went 4-8. And by the way, the next year they went 10-3, then 12-1, then 11-2. So they went 10 wins, 4 wins, 10, 12, 11. So you say, okay, which one is the outlier? That was the outlier, but outliers exist. So, and oh, by the way, that Notre Dame team in 2016 was preseason number 10 in the country. So it was a preseason top 10 team that went 4-8. It happens. Look, it happened to Texas A&M last year. They were preseason top 10. They went 5-7. So again, not predicting that for LSU, but if you're looking at what is the floor, bottom, worst case, I think for this LSU team, the bottom is 7-5. So, but I've given you my pick. I've said it for a while now. I'm comfortable in that pick and what I think they'll be, and we'll roll with it. We're going to get to a lot today here on the show because, again, we don't have a practice report. I kind of want to look at the LSU roster here through fall camp now that there's one more media available fall camp. Things I thought coming into fall camp, what I think we've gotten right so far and what maybe we didn't see, some of the camp surprises. We'll get to that and sprinkle that in as we move throughout the show today. It's after further review. Muse, I screwed it up, so hit it where we start every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Of course, our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light, and we have got, Alondra, there is a new graphic in there, if you could find it. It's the Friends in Low Places graphic. I don't know if you see it. Paulie, by the way, thank you. Paulie is having LASIK today. Paul O'Neill's having LASIK. That's why he's not here today or tomorrow. So Alondra's filling in for Paul. But want to remind you, the Friends in Low Places ticket giveaway, our friends at Mockler Beverage with Bud Light are giving away 2 sweet tickets. Ooh. Look at that. When that lightning cracks a little bit. What about when they play the hidden verse? Banned that thing on. Good. They banned that thing on CMT, didn't they?
They did.
Or VH1.
Probably both.
All of them.
All the above.
They banned it. Domestic violence.
Can't do it.
Violence is what it was. This doesn't even sound like Garth. It's not Garth. All his music's all, you can't find it on the internet,
I was going
right?
to say,
That's his thing.
It's not Garth.
You have a CD, Muse? You get a Garth CD, bring it in?
Actually, I do.
I tell you what, bring in a Garth CD tomorrow, or CDs, and we'll use it off your CDs.
Okay.
I used to have them. I had did you ever those binders?
Yeah, but you just
here I go again.
No,
Muse.
Again, I think people know that.
We were talking. I literally texted Muse yesterday. I was like, I have to stop with dated pop culture references because I'm alienating a segment of the audience that doesn't understand these things when I make 30-year-old references. That makes sense to me and people older than me, but I don't want to alienate anybody here. But anyway, kids, there used to be these things called compact discs. You'd have to buy them at a store, and then you kept them in a binder, like a big, thick binder with sleeves, and you could fit 4 on a page. And I had this giant one, and it was I don't know why I nostalgically held on to it. It was just in a desk drawer at my house, and I was cleaning out my office a few months back, maybe a few years back, and I was like, why am I keeping these CDs? I mean, 100 of them in one. I just threw it away. Whole binder.
How are we gonna play it off of a CD? We have no capability to play a CD in the studio.
Sure we do. You have a tower?
No.
There's no tower anywhere? Can you put a disc in the side of the desktop? Of the monitor?
No.
You can burn it.
We can burn it downstairs in one of the production rooms. Or just
we can do that.
Record it real time from one of the production rooms downstairs. Boy, this has gone a direction we did not need to go. We are late already. So look, here's the deal. Mockler Beverage and Bud Light they have a suite in the Superdome. They are giving away 2 tickets in the suite for the Garth Show on Saturday, September the 2nd in the Dome. If you want to win, get creative, make a video, you and your friends in low places, include Garth, got to have a Bud Light in the video, post it on social media and tag me, tag Mockler Beverage. We'll look at the best and we'll choose the winner a week from Monday. Good luck from our friends at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. Oh, by the way, the LSU Bud Light aluminum bottles are at retailers around town. Get yours today. It is after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, Saints and Chargers have wrapped up their practice out in L.A. Mike Triplett will be here in hour 3, but 2 very, very important pieces of information to come out of that practice today that I want to talk about next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. Sports on TV, it's Pluckers. Hey, fantasy football drafts. I'm sure a lot of you are having them moving into week 2 of the preseason. So, I mean, we are talking 2 weeks from today. Is 2 weeks from today the NFL opener or 3 weeks from today the NFL opener? 3 weeks from today is the NFL opener. Okay, we're getting close. So it's fantasy football draft time. If you're going to have your draft, have it at Pluckers. When you have your fantasy draft at Pluckers, the commissioner gets a Pluckers gift card. They will designate a TV for you. So if you want to cast your draft on a screen, they'll dedicate that for you. Of course, they'll have great food and drink specials every night of the week at Pluckers. So get on by. Tonight, every Thursday, all you can eat boneless buffalo bites at both Pluckers locations. Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. It's Pluckers if you like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 Permit Street.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Really good practice. I mean, obviously I was over on the defensive field for most of the practice, so I can't really speak too much on the offense. I think you got a pretty good rundown from Derek on what that looked like, but I thought defensively over there it was pretty good.
Dennis Allen, after the first day of joint practices, Saints, Chargers, out in L.A. They'll play on Sunday. The two squads will practice again on Friday. Walk through Saturday. They'll play their preseason game at SoFi Stadium there in Inglewood on Sunday night, 6:05 p.m. Central Time. Mike Triplett was there, is there. He'll join us later. We'll get you a full recap of the practice. But there were two things in particular, two people in particular that practice that I think for maybe one very obvious reason, one not so obvious, very impactful that they practice. Kendre Miller and Andrus Peat were both at practice on Thursday and participating. Here was Dennis Allen after practice on the decision to travel the injured guys to L.A.
Most of the guys are they're at that point where they're doing field work and things of that nature, and so we felt like bringing them here and being with the team, treatment and stuff here. Still got some extra field space where they can get their field work done. So we felt for those guys that it was appropriate for. We wanted to make sure they were here.
Okay, let me start with Kendre Miller, and then we'll get to Andrus Peat. This one is the obvious one. So we all know the story. Kendre Miller, great running back, TCU, hurt his knee in the bowl game in the college football playoff, didn't get to play in the championship game as a result of the knee injury, missed all of rookie minicamp OTAs, all the offseason stuff. Shows up, he's going through training camp, he gets hurt in the first preseason game. We're all holding our breath, hoping it's not serious. They tell us it's not serious, and lo and behold, it's not, because Sunday he was injured, and we're all thinking, man, just make sure he's back in time for the season opener. And here we are 4 days later, and he's on the practice field against the Chargers. So there are photos of Kendre Miller. Now, he has a knee brace on that right knee, but full pads today. That is, first of all, it's a huge relief. And there is no reason at all for Kendre Miller to play in the game against the Chargers on Sunday. Literally no reason whatsoever. He's a third-round pick. You're going to rely a lot on him. He's going to make the team. There's just nothing at all to prove here by playing Kendre Miller on Sunday. So don't even sweat that at all. But Alvin Kamara is going to be gone for the first 3 weeks due to suspension. So the way we were talking is, okay, well, if Kendre Miller, like in the hypothetical, right? If Kendre Miller isn't there for week one as a result of this injury, we got Jamal Williams, and then you've got Darrell Williams, who you just signed, and then who? Ellis Merriweather? Like, if Kendre Miller wasn't available, that's what you're literally looking at. Well, with Miller clearly available, now for weeks 1 through 3, you're looking at Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing a year ago. Kendre Miller, who's your rookie third-round pick, who we all think and hope could be the next version of Alvin Kamara for this team. And then Darrell Williams, who, due to injury in his second year, became a starter in Kansas City and has been a good player in the NFL, for that half a decade in KC, and then last year in Arizona when he got his opportunity later in the season to play. So, Darrell Williams is a serviceable NFL running back. So you've got those three guys, and then still the potential of a guy like Ellis Merriweather to make the team and be a fourth guy, special teams backup emergency guy. So I like that. Would I love to have Alvin Kamara? Of course, but you're not going to have him for 3 weeks. But you can win with this group. Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, Darrell Williams. I like that group. I like it way better if it's Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, then Darrell Williams is your 4. I mean, everybody just is better at that spot. Like, Jamal Williams as your 2 is better than Jamal Williams as your 1, right? Kendre Miller as your 3 is better than Kendre as your 2. Darrell Williams as your 4 is better than Darrell Williams as your 3. So it should go without saying. But, Kendre Miller is the wild card in this group. You drafted him, presumably, to be the next Alvin Kamara. And, the limited action we got to see in the in preseason game number 1 wasn't great. But then again, he was also running behind an offensive line that wasn't great, and got Jameis Winston sacked 3 times. So how would he look with that first unit? That's what I'll be interested to see when that day and time comes. But the really good news is Kendre Miller's out there in full pads 4 days after his injury, where we were wondering, man, is he going to miss time in the season? Flush that. He's going to be good to go. That's great to see. Now, maybe of even more consequence is Andrus Peat returning. So remember, Andrus Peat was injured in late July. So it's been a couple of weeks since Andrus Peat's injury. And he injured his quad. And if you remember, he was, videoed at practice, slowly, kind of gingerly walking off the field with a trainer at that practice when he hurt his quad. And he's been out ever since. And my assumption all along, as I'm sure for many of you has been the same thing, is that Andrus Peat's just going to make the team. He's going to be healthy for the opener. He's going to make the team and be your starting left guard. I don't know so much that I'm there anymore. With Trevor Penning starting at left tackle and James Hurst moving to left guard, that tells you very much that Andrus Peat has to go win this job. Follow me here, okay? Follow me through this. Go in the Wayback Machine to the spring, okay? And we're all looking at the Saints' salary cap situation and all the national narrative. They're in cap hell. How are they going to make? And we're all like, they're going to do what they always do. They're going to restructure deals and this. And when you do that, though, there's always cap casualties. And so you look at, all right, well, who's a potential cap casualty? Well, there were some that looked obvious, that their deals were going to be reworked or they were going to be cut. Will Lutz was one of them. Reworked his deal. Andrus Peat was a very obvious one where you could have looked and said, man, his time here is done. But Andrus Peat agreed to restructure his deal, but it wasn't just a thing where they converted salary to a signing bonus and spread it out. They did that, but he also took a pay cut. He took a pay cut to stay in New Orleans. Oh, by the way, so that tells you to begin with where the organization was. It's like, this is a take it or leave it deal. You either take a pay cut and we restructure this or we're going to cut you. So they restructure his contract to save $9 million. Well, if he's a post-June 1 release, which he would be now, they'd save an additional $1.5 million. So, yes, there is value monetarily to the Saints cutting Andrus Peat at this point. Now, his 2024 cap number is $13.6 million either way. It's $13.6. If he's on the roster, it's $13.6 in dead money. So, essentially, this is your opportunity. If you want to save any more on Andrus Peat, he doesn't make this roster, you save another $1.5 million. But if he's your best option at left guard, you obviously eat the $1.5 million and he's your starting left guard. I'm not saying that. But my point is there is a cap consideration here. But when I look at this offensive line and you go, okay, what are your best 5? If Trevor Penning is your starting left tackle, and it appears he is. I mean, he was your starter at left tackle in the preseason game. They want him to win the job. Used a first-round pick on him. We all understand and agree that. If Trevor Penning is your starting left tackle, and you know McCoy's at center, Ruiz is at right guard, and Ramchik's at right tackle, that means you've got Hurst and Peat battling out for the left guard job. Hurst has been more durable than Peat, who's missed time in every season that he's been in the NFL. He's never played a full season in the NFL. And Hurst is also a valuable swing player because he can play tackle or guard. Now, we have seen, in fairness, we have seen Andrus Peat play left tackle as well, which he played at Stanford. And when Teron Armstead was injured, we did see, had a hiccup. We did see Peat go play left tackle, and then they put in, I believe, Throckmorton. Trying to think through the years of other guys we've seen slide in at that left guard spot. Kenny Oselmete was one of the guys, or Senio Kelmete, was one of the guys they used as well as a swing player. My point is, yes, Peat could play left tackle, but Hurst played it last year. And if Hurst is your starting left guard and something were to happen to Trevor Penning, it's easy. You just move him there, and then you have a backup guard, which is likely going to be Nick Saldiveri this year, your fourth-round pick out of Old Dominion. So if you're looking at your first 5 as, Penning, Hurst, McCoy, Ruiz, Ramchick, Saldiveri is a swing guy, and then maybe Throckmorton. I don't know. But Peat may be one of your 7 best. And if he is, he makes the team. And that's fine. Even if he doesn't start, he's a guy with a ton of experience. You like him. But my point is, we had the conversation about the 53-man roster and who's going to make it, who wasn't. My point is only that Andrus Peat all of a sudden isn't a lock, I think, to make the roster. He's got to go not only win the starting job, he has to win a roster spot this year because of his durability, because of his contract situation, because of Hurst being maybe more valuable as an inside-outside swing guy that can play either side of the line, more valuable piece. That's one that I wouldn't have thought it a couple of weeks ago, but I do now. Looking at it, it makes a lot of sense that Andrus Peat has to get back out there because I think he's competing not only just for the starting job, I think he's competing for a job throughout the rest of training camp in this preseason. So we will keep an eye on it. Saints Chargers will practice again, joint practice on Friday in LA, walk through Saturday, then they'll play Sunday at SoFi. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. They got locations all over South Louisiana. 18 locations. You can find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. If you want to buy name brand tires and get them at wholesale prices, you go to Shaw Bills. Of course, at Shaw Bills, they got the price match guarantee. They will just not be beat on price. If you find tires cheaper anywhere else, Shaw Bills will beat that best price. If you by happenstance find something cheaper somewhere else, Shaw Bills. But most importantly, yes, they'll sell you tires at the cheapest price possible, but they're going to treat you like family. And in a day and age where we all bemoan how the customer service in so many industries has eroded, not at Shaw Bills. That's one of their core tenets. Go to the website and you'll see what they call their customer sort of bill of rights. It's the things that they guarantee that every customer deserves when they walk through the door at Shaw Bills. You can read it for yourself. You can schedule service, shop tires. It's all there at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's After Further Review. Something we've been doing here this week is catching up with a fall camp update for all of LSU's opponents this year. So we're going to do that in about 30 minutes from right now, at the start of hour 2. Our buddy John Nabors from the Buzz up in Little Rock is going to join us. We're checking on the Hogs. So the last couple days, we've checked in with Bama and Auburn. Today we'll look at Arkansas, and we'll continue through next week looking at all of LSU's opponents. And at the bottom of next, 1 hour from right now, Matt Scannell, the lead singer of Vertical Horizon, is going to be here. Going to play a charity show on behalf of Red Rock and Blue, our friend Jacques Doucet's charitable organization at the Varsity in Baton Rouge on Saturday. So we're looking forward to our chat with Matt Scannell as well. Mike Triplett in hour 3, who's out in L.A. with the Saints. We've got a ton to do today. We're glad you're here. Y'all buckle up and stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. That's electric vehicle chargers for your home or for your commercial building. If you own a commercial building, if you're a business owner, listen up. You got to go to ProChargeEV.com, fill out the form, and get more information. And you may say, but Matt, I don't drive an electric vehicle. It doesn't matter. If you own a grocery store and you don't drink beer, you're still going to sell beer because people drink beer. And the bottom line is, people are driving electric vehicles. The manufacturers can't even keep up with demand right now. Look at any chart. Do your research. Look at any chart, any projection. You will see the rapid increase in the number of electric vehicles on the road. Well, those vehicles have to charge somewhere. So if you own a business, this is an amenity for employees, an amenity for customers. You want to bring in more customers? It can actually be an amenity for tenants if you own an apartment complex. This can actually be a revenue generator with tap-to-pay options. Learn more. ProChargeEV.com. They're local. ProChargeEV.com.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Well, if you thought camp fights were just an LSU thing, think again. There's a video being posted on social media out there running around that happened at Colorado's practice on Wednesday. A defensive player slung a running back to the ground, a big old offensive lineman who's like 6'10", literally 6'10", 310 pounds. His name is Gerald Christian Lichtenham. Took offense, then slung around the defender. It really looked a lot. I mean, this looked a lot. Didn't it like a baseball fight, an air quotes fight?
Yeah, it
where
really
like
did.
There's a shove and then everybody just runs.
Bench is clear.
You know, they stand in a circle.
Yeah, a guy comes in from the bullpen.
Hey man, look out! Well, anyway, this is what's getting a lot of attention because Dion then spoke to his team, and this is what Dion said when he called them all together. Pull up the audio there.
He just fought. I seen two of y'all walking off over there, and you got a key teammate fighting. What they do that at?
Nowhere.
What they do that at?
Not here.
In one fight, we all fight. You understand that?
No, sir.
I don't want to see y'all walking off when somebody's fighting.
Yes, sir.
Never again.
Oh, yes,
Walk
sir.
off. All right. Come on.
I was in there.
So Dion says, the one guy's like, man, I was in that. I think he said he was in that bit.
That's what he said.
I was in that bit?
I was in that bit.
Is bit acceptable for air?
I think so.
I think so.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, no, he didn't finish it. He just said bit. He just said bit. Maybe he meant to say bruh.
He could have been saying bit. I was in that bit.
Bit. I was in that bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a lot of things.
Yeah. I was in that big old huddle over there.
Yeah, that was
That's what I was in. But there's a lot of people.
That's so stupid.
You're so stupid. But there's a lot of people who are mad that Dion's telling them to go fight. So if you missed it, Dion's like, you got a key teammate over there and saw y'all walking away. If one of you fights, you all fight. And there's people who are upset about this. Like, isn't this the thing about baseball fights? Like, if you're in the bullpen, in the outfield, it doesn't matter if the shoving match is going on at home plate. Everyone from the bullpen has to run, has to jog in. Because if you're just sitting in the bullpen, you're in trouble. Right?
Right. No, correct. Yes.
Well, I mean,
no matter how slow you jog in from the bullpen, it's the thought that counts.
And it's a slow job.
Oh, it is a slow job.
Nobody is interested at all in pulling a hammy. No, nobody's interested at all in fighting anyway. That's the truth about baseball fights. You want to know why that was such a big deal a couple weeks ago and what's his name got in the fight?
Tim Anderson got knocked out by Jose Ramirez.
You know why that was such a big thing? Because someone finally threw a punch in a baseball fight. It's like, oh my God, look, it was a real fight. Oh my God, they actually threw a punch. The reason everybody makes a big deal out of Robin Ventura getting bloodied up by Nolan Ryan 30 years ago. What? Because someone actually threw a punch and got bloodied in a baseball fight. So only one in 30 years. Well, Jose Bautista got his jaw moved.
Joey Bats got rocked.
It was Rougned Odor who did it. Yeah, that was a good punch.
That was.
Really good punch by Odor. Anyway, look, if you're going to go be in a fight, get your money's worth, man. What you doing? Like, if you're going to be in trouble, you're going to get in a fight, man, go get your money's worth. Let it fly. Maybe someone catches you. Maybe you catch someone. Who knows? Go earn some respect. Put some respect on it. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday shows are brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
Peyton Thorne has won the Auburn starting quarterback job. ESPN has confirmed the news, citing sources. Thorne, of course, is the Michigan State transfer. He has beaten out Robbie Ashford for the starting job September the 2nd against UMass. Thorne was a 2-year starter at Michigan State. Ashford was Auburn's starter last year, who had transferred in from Oregon. Of course, Hugh Freeze taking over an offense that was 119th in the country last year in passing. See if they can turn it around.
The Florida Gators.
Florida junior center Kingsley Eguakun is considered day-to-day with a lower leg injury. Sophomore Jake Slaughter. Not that Jake Slaughter, Muse. Hunter Fiducia, their backup. And true freshman Kanijah Harris, they're expected to receive first and second team reps at center while Eguakun is out. Eguakun is the only full-time starter from Florida's offensive line a year ago back this year in Gainesville. He was the starting center for all 13 games. Two other projected starters, Baylor transfer Micah Mazakua, and he underwent shoulder surgery, and then Kentucky transfer Keonta Goodwin left the team. So Florida's offensive line definitely in shuffle mode right now.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And how about this? Vandy football gave a tour of its stadium, which, by the way, now is, get used to this. It's called First Bank Stadium. So they have a sponsor on Vandy Stadium now. They gave a tour of First Bank Stadium to the media. I'm going to get you. That was terrible. Muse, come on.
That was real bad.
I threw the paper at Muse and he kind of blocked it. He tried to throw it back at me, and he barely got it over his computer.
It slipped, yeah.
Anyway, they gave a tour of First Bank Stadium to members of the media. They are renovating the stadium right now, including both end zones. So they brought the media in to show everybody like how the field is going to be accessed during this coming football season. For what it is worth, the regular capacity of First Bank Stadium is 40,350. Because of the ongoing renovations, capacity this year will be 28,500. Do me a favor, search college football stadium capacities. I want to know where 28.5 would put Vanderbilt. If you're watching, there's a picture. So both end zones are essentially leveled. They're going to put a makeshift video board in the end zone, a temporary video board in the end zone, and then they're going to put up padded walls so players don't run into the construction fences as well. But hat tip for trying, Vandy. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Tell you every day. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, a national leader among Savin dealers, but they proudly sell the Savin line, but they will service all makes and models. You need to be more efficient. Copiers, printers, all-in-one machines, they do it all. Interactive whiteboards. the leader in our state is Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com. All right, what we got, Muse? 28.5. Where does that fall among college football stadium capacity?
So it is 28.5 even, right? There's
Yep.
no 28.5 puts them right in between Nevada and Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech's at 28.562, and Nevada is at 27,000 even.
Where? What number are they nationally? Are we talking like bottom third? I don't know if it's listed, but what are you talking about, like bottom third?
Yes, bottom third on this
What's
list.
the smallest capacity in the FBS?
Looks like it is Nevada at 27,000. At least on this list that I'm looking. This is on Wikipedia. It's a list of all the stadiums, and it looks like Nevada 27,000 because the one below that is a former stadium that Cal played in. It's the home of the LA Galaxy.
Oh, wait, here you go. Wait, hang on. Oh, my goodness. So I just pulled this up. So, actually, Reeser Stadium,
oh, I didn't see
which is
Reeser
where
at the bottom.
Oregon State is, I think they're being renovated as well.
Yes.
They're at 26,407. And then Mackey Stadium, where Nevada plays, or Nevada, is at 27,000 even. Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. That's where I guess somebody played there.
Yeah, it looks like Cal played there for a little bit, but it's primarily used for the Galaxy of the MLS.
Oh, Cal played there the year their stadium
So it
was being
renovated,
renovated.
yeah.
Yeah. They did a beautiful job renovating their stadium for a G5 school. So this is the second smallest, because I'm not counting. Well, I guess you have to count Reeser, but Reeser,
that was bigger, man.
Mackey, and so Vanderbilt will be the third smallest stadium by capacity in college football this year. In the FBS, out of 133, third smallest. Wow.
Reeser Stadium's only going up to 35.5.
Good for them. Know yourself. Know thyself.
Yeah.
But by comparison, as much of a joke as Vanderbilt is, Reeser is 3,000 less than Vandy's usual capacity. I wasn't throwing it at you, Alondra. I was throwing it at the camera. I was trying to avoid you. All right. Stay hot, Vandy. It's after further review. Let's knock out a quick break. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Remember, the Renaissance is right there on Bluebonnet. And that's where the LSU football team stays Friday nights before home football games. So if you're going to be in town or have family, friends going to be in town for football games, book your rooms at the Renaissance now for Friday nights before the games, before it completely books up. There are more suites at the Renaissance than any hotel property in Baton Rouge. But look, everybody knows it's a gorgeous property. You want to stay there. Stay at the Renaissance. Convenient, Bluebonnet right there by I-10. Remember all the other amenities, though, that the Renaissance has to offer. They love to host your event, whatever it may be. Wedding receptions, balls, if it's Greek events, corporate events, fundraisers, awards, banquets. They can do it all. At the Renaissance, they're in the business of saying yes. And remember, our friends at Tallulah, casual upscale dining inside of the Renaissance Hotel. It's the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota 4Runner for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
You know, one of the commonalities of a lot of joint practices in the NFL is fights. Usually things get chippy. You start hitting someone else and push, shove, and then it happens. I mean, it's one of the reasons the Saints and Texans had to stop practicing with each other as they fought all the time. Derek Carr actually said things out in Cali were pretty chill, bro.
It's all good. It's all good competition. I thought this was one of the cleanest, joint practices I've been a part of. There was no chippiness, but it is day one. People will be more sore tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully nothing crazy.
Because they took the 10 to the PCH, bro. That's what they did. Californians. What are you doing here, Stuart? Is that a good reference, Muse, or is that too?
That might be one of the best references ever. The Californians is.
What are you doing?
The Californians is legendary.
What are you doing?
California Grumps.
How'd you get here? I took the PCH, the 101. That is a Saturday Night Live skit for those that don't know. The Californians. That's very well done. Look it up if you're not familiar. So Saints are out in Cali, taking on the Chargers on Sunday. Mike Triplett's there. He'll be with us here in hour 3. Mike's with us every Thursday, as he was a year ago throughout the season. But we figured, what the heck, man? Let's start having Mike on during the preseason as well. So our Mike's with us every Thursday for as long as the Saints are playing in hour number 3. So we're glad to have Mike with us. He'll be here in hour number 3. Tell us what we saw today. I oftentimes, it's sort of a standing tenet here that I hate super fans. If you dress up to go to the game, I loathe you. I as a human being, you might be an okay person. As a super fan, I don't like you. You're making it about you and not the team. You're trying to get on TV. You're just making the whole thing about you, and it's not about supporting your team. You're no better. And oftentimes it's really that super fans feel entitled. You're no better than the guy that buys season tickets that sits in section 630. He's just as big a fan as you. You're just a jackleg who decides you're going to dress up. No bigger example than Kansas City Chiefs super fan, the Chiefs-aholic, who has been indicted on bank robbery and money laundering charges. How about that, Chiefs-aholic? This loser dresses up like a wolf and goes to all the Chiefs games, and apparently he wears a gray wolf suit to home games, oftentimes shown on broadcast. And he apparently was accused of 3 counts of armed bank robbery, 1 count of bank theft, 11 counts of money laundering, and 4 counts of transporting stolen property across state lines. Do you remember a few years ago that loser who calls himself Clipper Darrell, who goes to all the LA Clipper games? He tried to do appearances, paid appearances as Clipper Darrell, and the organization sent him a cease and desist because he was using their name and likeness and all that stuff. So they said, no, you can't do this. And so there was this outrage about Clipper Darrell. This is why. You can't let a loser represent your organization. You can't call yourself Chief Saholic, dress up in a wolf suit, and go out and do appearances. Because we find out you're a degenerate who robs banks. Super fans. Losers. We'll go to Arkansas and talk to John Nabors next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. And now, also, interior window shutters. Man, they just do... There's a lot of places you can go to buy windows. A lot of places you can go to buy siding. There's a lot of places that you can go to buy doors. There's a lot of places you can go to buy interior shutters. But no place is going to sell you the best quality products and give you exceptional customer service like Relief Windows. At Relief Windows, their shutters are moisture resistant. They're antimicrobial. They are impervious to insects. They are fire retardant. Also, they're constructed to last a lifetime, so they won't chip or crack, warp, or split. If you're thinking about shutters for your interior shutters for your windows, why would you go to anywhere other than the place with windows in the name? It's Relief Windows. Windows, door siding. ReliefWindows.com.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. In an Ohio courtroom today, Joe Mixon of the Bengals found not guilty of aggravated menacing. That case stemmed from an alleged road rage incident back in January, the day before the Bengals beat the Bills in the divisional round. Lions coach Dan Campbell says there's a good chance wideout Jamison Williams will miss the rest of the preseason with a leg injury. He'll also be serving a 6-game suspension to start the regular season for violating the league's gambling policy. Now that Colts running back Jonathan Taylor is out of camp again, this time for a personal matter, what can the team expect from him? ESPN's Jeremy Fowler.
Their expectation is they'd want to see what he can do when he's healthy. Like, he just hasn't been healthy. And then now he's gone. So they really don't know what they're getting now, to be honest. And this could go a number of different ways here because the Colts have made clear publicly they're not trading him. But when I talk to teams, they still feel like the Colts are going to explore it at some point or might have to.
Jeremy Fowler on Greeny. More than 1,000 former Northwestern athletes from every sport have signed an open letter condemning hazing but also defending the athletics culture at the school.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Alondra Villarreal. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Matt Scannell, lead singer of Vertical Horizon, going to be with us in 30 minutes. He'll be playing a charity show in Baton Rouge on Saturday. Excited to have him here. And then Mike Triplett joining us from Los Angeles in hour number 3. Talk Saints Chargers joint practices earlier today. Let's head up to Fayetteville. Our buddy John Nabors from 103.7 The Buzz. Actually, they're in Little Rock. Good enough to join us here as we continue to check in on each of LSU's opponents this year. John's good enough to spend a couple of minutes. How are you, dude?
Man, I'm doing great. Did I hear about Vertical Horizon? Is that what I heard?
That's it, man. So our mutual friend Jacques Doucet has a great charity, Red Rock and Blue. So he puts on events throughout the year, raises money for Louisiana military charities, and he puts on this concert series. And so he's got Vertical Horizon coming in on Saturday. So the lead singer, Matt Scannell, is going to be with us in 30 minutes. So I'm excited about that.
Man, I'm excited about it for you, dude. You're a god, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite jams growing up. So that's awesome.
That was from the movie Bruce Almighty, if you remember. It was featured in the movie Bruce Almighty. I shouldn't say it's from the movie, but it was in the movie. So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about it. So we'll talk to Matt Scannell coming up in a bit. How excited are people there about this Hogs football season, man? Give me a vibe check there.
Well, honestly, it's one of those things to where I'm sure you guys know about it. You get there in summer camp, and then it starts going through, and fans are like, you know what, just 7 wins is probably what we're thinking. But, if things go well, maybe get to 8. And each and every week that goes by, people are like, you know what, I think we could go 12-0. I think it can work out. I mean, that's just how it goes. But, no, I think that the closer we get, the more exciting people are, just because you start hearing reports out of camp that we're able to check out practices and see what some of the newcomers are looking like and what some of the new coaches have come in and tried to instill. And, of course, at this point in time, knock on wood, everyone's been staying relatively healthy for the most part. So I'd say that the excitement level is starting to build, and the more that Razorback fans hear some positives coming out of camp, the more that they're going to have those expectations get elevated too.
John, 6-6 a year ago, won the bowl game. It was a great bowl game against Kansas, that triple overtime game. To get to 7-6, but a 6-6 regular season. What needed to improve from a year ago to build upon that record from last year?
Well, 100% the secondary. I mean, they ranked 131st in pass defense in the country, and that's dead last. Like, not in the SEC, just in the entire country, dead last. So that's first and foremost what they had to work on. But more so than anything, at least something that's more practical, is that they had such an issue of getting the short yardage situations. If it was first and goal from the 4-yard line, it would take them 4 downs at minimum to get there. Like maybe if they get lucky with a penalty, or maybe they wouldn't even get a touchdown, they'd go for a field goal. It was frustrating to see a team, especially Sam Pittman, who's preached about being physical, unable to get those short yardage situations. And so they needed to improve on that. I think they made a move at the strength and conditioning coach with Ben Souders coming in that's really helped. I think that they've gotten a lot bigger, stronger, faster, and some of the transfers that they've brought in especially. But I think that it's just a matter of the closing out not only those short yardage situations, closing out the quarters, closing out the halves, closing out the games. They got to have that mentality where they're physically and mentally tough towards the end and when it matters the most. And so they have to work on that. And, it's something until you see it in practice, or at least until you see it in a game, you're not going to believe it until you see it. But they needed to get better at closing out the most important times.
That's, it's so hard to believe too, John, because you got such a big physical guy in KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. I think most people, even if they haven't seen him play, they know his name, right? As he's a really good SEC running back. So what gives, man? Like where's the issue if you got that quarterback running back combo?
Yeah, that's the most mind-blowing thing. I mean, if you put the weight together for those two guys, you're talking about like 500 pounds just for getting down. You're like, hey, if you got two of those dudes, you should be able to get a few yards and be talked about a lot. But what it was is just, I think, with Kendall Brown, the offensive coordinator last year, which I actually liked him a lot of cases, but he would do some things to where it's like, hey, if they didn't have the physicality or maybe they didn't have the confidence to punch it in, he would do weird things. Like, I'll never forget the Missouri game last year. The Arkansas lost. They felt like they should have won. It was first and goal from the 3. They lose a yard, and then it's second and goal from the 4. And then instead of using KJ or using Rocket, they have Trey Knox go and at a tight end position and line up under center in some sort of trick play and stop traffic. It didn't work. They got stuffed. So it was almost like, because they couldn't do it in the beginning, instead of working at it to get better at it, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to try to do some cute stuff and try to make it work. And it didn't. So people lost confidence. The players lost confidence in themselves. If the offensive linemen lost some confidence, I just feel like nobody was on the same page as far as what they needed to do to be able to make those plays happen.
John Nabors is with us, checking in on the Hogs. What is different with how different might the offense look with Enos as opposed to Brawls?
I think the main thing is just going to be utilizing the tight end position a lot more. Arkansas, for even all their faults, they've always had really talented tight ends for years. I mean, you could go back to the days where Jason Peters, who actually is a Hall of Famer in the NFL as an offensive lineman, he was a tight end. You think about DJ Williams, Chris Gregg, Hunter Henry, Jeremy Sprinkle, AJ Derby played in the NFL. I mean, they had tight ends year after year after year. And when Bryles got here, they just didn't really utilize it as much. They had some tight ends on the roster, but never really tried to use them as a focus. And I think with Enos, they're going to try to get back to that. Arkansas added a great tight end from North Texas and Marquise Gum, who was one of the better tight ends in the transfer portal. They got some freshmen like Luke Haas that's come in, and he's looking really good and turning some heads. And they got transfer Francis Sherman out of Louisville. So they've just added and really focused more so on getting some of those big able-bodied guys to help out KJ, where it's not just wide receivers, if that doesn't work, run, like having some options, being able to throw out of the backfield a lot more, having more of the screen plays. So to me, that's something that I look forward to, is seeing the tight end position get utilized, not only for passing, but also for blocking itself, because Arkansas's offensive line, I think, will be fine, but a lot of new faces there that may need some help in the beginning part of the year.
Hey, we spent so much time talking offense. Where we started was you talking about how porous the secondary was. It's odd because, LSU played Arkansas in such a low-scoring game, but the rest of the season, you're right. Yeah. I mean, it was tough sledding back there. So, reason to believe Arkansas's defense might be better this year?
Well, I think it comes down to just a rejuvenation in the coaching staff. I think that what happened with Barry Odom last year and some of the coaches that he had, there was something off. There was something really off about it. And I think Sam Pittman and even Barry Odom understood it. And I think that that's one of the reasons why he went to UNLV, is just, hey, it was a mutual thing, still respect you, but we need something new in here. And the new coaches that have come in with Travis Williams and especially Marcus Woodson in the secondary, they've provided a new energy. And not only do you have some of the key components from last year's defense, as few as there may be back, we've lost Drew Sanders, but you got Dwight McLaughlin back, which, of course, LSU fans know about.
Sure.
But he had a really nice season, and he's been improving. And you've got Guys out of the transfer portal, a few of them from Baylor, Snacks Johnson and Al Walcott have been great. The linebacker position, you've been able to add a few pieces there, but you still have Chris Poop-Hall. And I think, honestly, the strength of this team on the defense is going to be the defensive line. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of explosiveness. Not only do they have Landon Jackson, another player LSU fans are familiar with. He came to SEC Media Days, but they look like they're going to be good with him. Jeff Coate, the transfer from Missouri, who was an SEC all-freshman player a couple of years ago from Missouri, he's on the line. And it just looks like they look like an SEC defense. They got the size and the physicality, and they have the depth. It's just a matter of, can they stop people? Can they slow them down? I think that you're going to see a much more improved product. But is it going to be good enough to take it from being a 6-win team to a 9-win team? That's yet to be determined. But I really think that because of the depth and the players they've added and the coaching staff that's in place, they're going to be a much more improved team.
LSU September 23rd in Baton Rouge. Then it's the neutral site game against A&M. Then it's at Ole Miss, at Bama. We're going to find out early.
Yep. It's usually how it goes for Arkansas. It's a tradition like no other, getting one of the toughest schedules in college football. But, hey, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know how y'all feel about it. I mean, I hate the fact that Arkansas and LSU play in September. It just doesn't feel right. It's been a November game ever since I can remember, so that's going to be weird to see.
It's going to be to LSU's benefit, so I'm good with it. He's John Nabors on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors. Thanks, John. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, as always, man, appreciate you too. And enjoy the interview with the guy from Vertical Horizon. I'm jealous for you. I'm going to listen to it.
Thanks, dude. We appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
All right, that is John Nabors. I actually screwed up. Matt Scanlon, I thought, for the lead singer of Vertical Horizon, I thought was at 4:30. I think that's why I set notifications on my calendar. It's 4:15. So let me break Matt Scanlon when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Precious few days remaining. You actually have 14 days remaining to log on to getgordonbillboards.com. The latest promotion from Gordon, he's letting you design his next billboard, and you could win up to $2,000 in prizes. Go to getgordonbillboards.com. That's getgordonbillboards.com, and you could win $2,000 in prizes if your design is chosen. It's easy. Go to the website. You see where you can fill out the form. You can submit your artwork at getgordonbillboards.com. Calling all creatives. So check it out there. And of course, we tell you all the time, if you've been in an accident, it's not your fault. You need representation. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan has been representing injured people in our state for more than 30 years. Call 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com. Getgordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home in Baton Rouge. Operator, what you put me on through? Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
I'm glad you're rolling with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Excited about this, man, as are many of you, no doubt. This Saturday at the Varsity in Baton Rouge, our buddy Jacques Doucet, who's done an amazing job with Red Rock and Blue throughout the years, fundraisers benefiting Louisiana military charities, from the softball game, the kickball game, the celebrity game, and all the concert series. And this Saturday, the Louisiana military benefit for Red Rock and Blue is featuring Vertical Horizon. The lead singer of Vertical Horizon is Matt Scannell, who's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Matt, it's a pleasure, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much.
Dude, it's our pleasure. Hey, I saw Vertical Horizon, the band, is touring right now. Y'all have a show tonight in Milwaukee?
Yep, we're playing in Milwaukee tonight, actually at the zoo. It's this beautiful venue, and we're excited to be here. And then, yeah, we're going to come down to you guys tomorrow. We're going to start heading down there.
That's awesome, man. We're a radio, TV video show. Our video producer proposed to his wife at the zoo in New Orleans. So we're like, we're big zoo fans here, man.
Love it.
Hey, have you ever played Baton Rouge before, or played anywhere in Louisiana?
Well, we have played in Louisiana for sure. We played New Orleans a few times, but I think we played Baton Rouge, but it's been quite some time, probably at least 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So I'm psyched to get back there.
Yeah, man, the Varsity is an awesome venue. There's so much history, just some incredible bands that have rolled through there over the years. But, man, I was kind of preparing to talk to you today, and obviously I'm familiar with Vertical Horizon, really the rise to fame in 99 and 2000. I didn't realize you all formed in 1991. When you were students at Georgetown, was from in that period, and I'm always fascinated by this, right? For that period from 91 to 99, when you got hooked up with the label and they really, you re-released your records and you started rising to fame. Like, was there a point where you worried, like, are we gonna make it? Was there ever a time when you thought about shutting it down?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course there was. I mean, on the one hand, I've always been driven, beyond anything else to try to have a career in music. But it can be, and was brutally hard at times. And, I would see my friends who were sort of climbing up somewhat of a ladder in whatever job they had. And I would see myself sort of banging my head against the wall in various situations, thinking like, man, do those guys have it right? Like, are they doing, should I change what I'm doing? But it's really the only thing I've ever wanted to do, and how beautiful that all these years later we still get to do it. I mean, it's a privilege and an honor.
That is really cool. So you're from Worcester and went to Georgetown. You've got to be a sports. We're at an ESPN affiliate. We're a sports talk show. You got to be a sports fan, yeah?
Well, so you're going to hate me because I'm the guy who spent more time sitting in his bedroom. Whoa. my hotel is telling me something's going on. But no, I spent most of my time just, oh my goodness, amazing.
Wait, what happened? Do you have is there like an alarm going off or something?
Yeah, it's a fire alarm in my hotel.
Matt, do you need to run out of your room right now? Like, please, by all means.
It's a false alarm. No, I'm hearing it's a false alarm.
Okay.
They're saying it's a false alarm. So,
Matt, hit the fire escape, brother. Like, don't let me be accountable for Matt Scannell's demise.
I'm going to blame it all on you. I mean, I was just trying to get out of this hotel without paying for my room, so I just pulled the fire alarm. I think that's okay, right?
That's perfectly fine. You do it you do what you got to do. Say, hey, man, I got to get to a gig. It's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt Scannell's with us, lead singer Vertical Rise, and they're playing the Varsity on Saturday night as part of the Red Rock and Blue, benefit, of course, benefiting Louisiana Military Charities. One of the other things, I saw this interview, and it's relevant because, correct me if I'm wrong, but your producer when you all went to RCA was the same producer that worked with Dave Matthews and John Mayer, correct?
We worked with so John Alasia is
yes.
I think the guy
John.
That you're thinking
That's
of.
who I was talking about. Was John.
And so John worked with us, and his producing partner Doug Derryberry worked with us on our second record, which was called Running on Ice.
Okay.
But we didn't work with John when we were at RCA, but yes, we have a very close relationship with those guys.
This is why I brought it up. So I saw an interview like literally yesterday with John Mayer. And I don't mean to date you here, Matt, but you're 53 now. So like we're all getting old, right? But I saw an interview. I saw an interview with John Mayer where he said he hates singing Waiting on the World to Change, because he said like his voice has changed, and it's just much harder for him to sing that song now because he's lost a few octaves or whatever. Is there any song that everyone expects you to play that you just don't like to play anymore for whatever reason?
No, it's really funny you would mention that, because I just was talking to a friend about this the other day. So many artists, and John, I guess, is an example of this as well. I wasn't aware of that, but they have some problem with one of their hits, or maybe some of their hits for some reason, whether it's, the record label pressured them into recording it, or they co-wrote it with someone and that person sort of brought a different spin on the thing so it didn't feel completely genuine to them, or perhaps like John saying, maybe that song's a little bit more challenging for him to sing or something. I guess part of the problem, honestly, is, John's got a lot more hits than I do. So, the odds are that John would have, a song or two in that list of hits that maybe, cause problems in some way, shape, or form. I'm fortunate in that regard to have have fewer songs that really kind of moved the needle. But the ones that did, I'm so lucky. I can sing them still like in the same key and the other thing, but most importantly for me, is I still feel these songs from the bottom of my heart. I mean, these songs mean the world to me. A song like Everything You Want, a song like Best I Ever Had, or You're a God. I mean, these songs really, really are dear to me, and I'm so grateful for them, and I never want to stop singing them as long as people want to hear them.
That's awesome, man. Baton Rouge, all Louisiana's going to get a chance Saturday night at the Varsity for Red Rock and Blue. Doors open at 6 o'clock. It's going to be a great night. You mentioned You're a God. That we've talked about it a bit, and I know a lot of these questions you've answered a bajillion times over the years, but it feels like there's, just like when you go play a show, there's songs you have to play. When you do an interview, there's questions I have to ask. That was in Bruce Almighty, and I would love to know how that came about. Like, how does your song end up, like, how do those conversations go that your song ends up on that soundtrack?
Well, so there are music supervisors whose job it is to kind of scour the musical landscape to find songs that would be appropriate for the films that they're working on. And for Bruce Almighty, that's exactly how it was done. It really wasn't any hard work on my part whatsoever. We were approached about the film. I was sent a synopsis of the scene that it would be in. I was obviously excited that it would be a Jim Carrey film. And the amazing thing about the use of that song in Bruce Almighty is they used it for a long time.
Yes.
Film, like something like 3 minutes or something crazy like that. And I remember being in the theater thinking like, they're going to stop it any second now. And it just kept going. And I'm like raising my hands, like both up in the air, like I'm standing up as other people are like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, that's It was the greatest, man. It was the greatest.
No, and it was, I remember it was the montage at the end where Bruce is like figuring out, I don't need to use all my God powers and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a really cool scene in the movie when they did it. Hey man, I would love to know also just how, is there a moment where, because I kind of alluded to earlier how you had that long stretch, right, where you're playing shows, you're releasing records independently, and then you have a hit go to number one, and it was the top charting hit of the year 2000, like the number one Billboard charting hit in the whole year. Was there a moment where you stopped and went like, oh my God, like we did it, we made it? Like, do you remember a moment, an instance like that?
Yeah, it's actually such a dorky moment, but it's truly, this is what happened. We were in a hotel somewhere because we were always just in hotels, and I guess we kind of continue to just be in hotels. But I was ordering myself a pizza, and I called whatever pizza place it was, and they said, "What size do you want?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm going to go for the large tonight. I'm going to go for the large." And then they said, "Well, what do you want?" And I remember thinking, I can have whatever I want in this pizza. Now, that might sound ridiculous, but the truth of the matter is, man, we were counting every single penny. So, like, when I would go to the grocery store back in New York, I would only go on Wednesdays because that was the day of the week when the pasta and the sauce, the ragu sauce, was on sale. And so we were really living lean. And as everything you want started to take off, I remember that one night where it was sort of like, hey, wait, hold on. Maybe I don't have to worry so much about money. And I spent an extra $5 or $6 on that pizza. And that's when the transition started for me, where I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to have to worry about paying my rent anymore. Like, what a beautiful thing. And the thing that gave me that sort of peace was my song, a song that I wrote in a moment of complete heartbreak and pain, came back and sort of gave me this peace and security. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty awesome, man. I know people have enjoyed your music for many years, and they'll get to enjoy live in person on Saturday, and all benefit and great charity as well. So Varsity Saturday, doors at 6:00. Vertical Horizon will take the stage. Hat tip to Jacques Doucet and everybody for putting the whole event together. And to Matt Scannell, lead singer of Vertical Horizon, for joining us for a couple of minutes here. Matt, this was fun, man. Have a great show tonight. Safe travels, and we'll look to see you Saturday.
Thank you. Can I just say one more quick thing,
please.
if you don't mind?
Yeah.
So, dude, the most important shows I've ever played in my career are the shows we've played for the military. I feel like the men and women who serve our country do the hard work that makes guys like me have the ability to go out and sing songs for a living. And the fact that I get to do things that sort of help give back in some way, shape, or form mean the absolute world to me. When I was younger, some of my friends signed up and they went, far and distant places around the world in the armed forces, and I didn't. And so now at this point in my career, we do a lot of shows for the military around the world. And whenever I get the chance to do something that involves giving back to these extraordinary men and women, I just think this is the absolute purest expression of why we do what we do. We sing songs for a living for one simple reason, that we have men and women who serve our country and keep us safe. So I'm really looking forward to this show.
Well said. Matt, we appreciate the time, man. Safe travels. We'll look for you on Saturday night, and looking forward to the show, man.
Cool, man. Thanks so much.
It's our pleasure. Matt Scannell, of course, lead singer of Vertical Horizon. They'll be playing in Baton Rouge at the Varsity Saturday. All the proceeds benefiting Red, Rock, and Blue, of course, great Louisiana military charities. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Stick around here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. You can get to the website. Of course, as I tell you all the time, if you're thinking about selling your home, you need to hire a realtor. And the reason is because you can think you do it by yourself, but this is statistically proven. 73% of people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor for any variety of reasons. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money, save yourself the headache. Call the realtor that's going to give you an enjoyable experience and get results. It's Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's Darren's website, agent225.com. You could search homes. You could contact Darren right there, or just call or text him. I'm giving you his cell number, 335-7666, for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
The Queen Baton Rouge invites you to a special never-before-seen event in Baton Rouge on Thursday, August the 24th. The Queen Baton Rouge presents a drone light show. The show will begin just after 8:30 p.m. Come downtown or park anywhere close to where you have a clear view of the sky above River Road near the Capitol. Then after the show, head over at 9 p.m. when the doors officially open at the Queen Baton Rouge.
Now you know who's getting a sneak peek over there.
Who's that?
Your boy.
Really? At the Queen or just at the drone
Queen.
show?
No, at the Queen.
Okay, the Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's next Thursday, the 24th.
24th.
They're going to have a DraftKings sportsbook inside.
Oh, that's going to be good.
So we were invited, some of us here, to go check it out. I think the VIP. Well, I hate to say VIP. It sounds stupid. You know what I mean? A VIP event. at I'll blurt it out at I think 6 or whatever it is. So I'm gonna get off the air, head over there. So check it out, man. Should be a good time. Hope to see a lot of people out there.
The book's open already, or they
don't know.
Oh, okay.
Don't know. All I know is I got an invite that said, "Hey, you're on a list. Would love to have you come check out the place beforehand." That's very common in media. Like, of course, any place that's open, a lot of times they have early media access so that to have people come see it, talk about it, and hopefully share all the wonderful news. So I'm excited. Go out there tomorrow or next week, a week from today, right?
Yeah.
Next Thursday, the 24th.
24th, next Thursday.
All right. It's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Yeah, I screwed up. I had on the rundown Matt Scannell for 4:15. So I guess we'll just flip 4:15 and 4:30 segments. I'm just externally processing. Apologies for that. None of you need to know any of that. Mike Triplett will be with us in about 45 minutes from right now. Look forward to having Mike Triplett with us here. There was a story we did earlier this week about Darrell Jackson. You may not remember the name, but you might remember the story if I tell you. So Darrell Jackson is a defensive lineman who transferred this offseason to Florida State. And he's a good player. Okay, he's a really good player who started his career at Maryland, was there for 1 year, transferred from Maryland to Miami. So he spent last season at the University of Miami with the Hurricanes. Well, and he's played 25 career college games at Maryland and at Miami. So he's played a bunch. And he was expected to be a starter on the defensive line for Florida State this year. Well, he transferred to Florida State, but he needed a waiver because he'd already used his one-time transfer going from Maryland to Miami. So he applied for a hardship waiver. He's from just outside of Tallahassee, and his mother there is battling some type of is battling a medical condition, is what they said. They didn't disclose what that medical condition is. Well, the NCAA denied his eligibility waiver. And Ross Dellinger reported earlier today, our buddy Ross over at Yahoo, reported that a group of senators or congressmen and women signed a letter today. They all co-signed a letter to Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, imploring him to reconsider Darrell Jackson's eligibility request. So these are, let's see, there are Michael Waltz, Neil Dunn, Maria Salazar, Carlos Jimenez, Corey Mills, Laurel Lee, Kat Kamek, Debbie Wassman Schultz, Daniel Webster, Darren Soto, Jared Moskowitz, and Byron Douglas. So, I mean, there are 12 members of Congress that signed this letter, all from the state of Florida, that signed this letter to Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA, ask him to reconsider on Darrell Jackson's behalf. So I'm a little torn here because, number one, I am the guy who has admitted I am completely on the fringes of this. Like, I am far extreme of the conversation about NIL and transfer portal. And I am nothing if not consistent. I've told you over and over and over again that I think everyone should be able to transfer whenever they want, wherever they want. You want to transfer 4 different places in 4 years? Why not? An average student can do that. Why can't a student athlete do that? And you're going to say, well, it's not fair. Why is it not fair? That if it's the one roadblock we always run into is whenever I have this conversation with anybody, nobody can give me a practical, logical reason why not. The answers are generally, well, team, camaraderie, what life lessons are you teaching them about quitting and moving? Like, that's completely arbitrary in your opinion. Some people see better opportunities, they go. What if someone works at 4 different jobs in 4 years because they keep getting better opportunities? Okay. Or they make a decision and they realize they don't like the job they're in. Is it better to just stay there and be miserable in a job you hate? Should you be punished for leaving a job you hate? No. Go find something that better suits you. Live your life. So, from that standpoint, yeah, I think Darrell Jackson should be eligible because I think everybody should be eligible when you transfer. The flip side of it is the rules don't prohibit it or don't allow that. So by the rule, the NCAA told us this year they were cracking down on transfer waivers. They were not just giving blanket transfer waivers anymore. If you have used your one-time transfer you were not going to be granted a waiver. And it was going to be extreme circumstances. And they denied this waiver. And this isn't the only. There are many that have been made public this week where the NCAA has denied transfer waivers. So I'm really not sympathetic. Now, the other part of it, too, of course, is LSU plays Florida State in the opener. This would be a starting defensive lineman. So, Darrell Jackson not being on the field for Florida State is impactful for Florida State because he's a really good player. The other thing I'll tell you, too, is that hits close to home. Y'all, we're not talking about it yet again. Nobody is, but LSU basketball is going to need a waiver for Jalen Cook to play. Jalen Cook played at LSU. He used his transfer to go to Tulane. Now he's transferring back. He's going to need a waiver to be eligible at LSU this fall, spring. So, I don't know. I know that around the program, they're confident he's going to get that waiver. I have no inside information to it other than the fact that I know they're confident he'll get the waiver. But then you see stories like this where guys that you would think in years past would be granted that hardship waiver, they're not just handing them out because anymore, clearly. So it's one worth watching because that will impact LSU there in week 1 against Florida State. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. You can check out our friends Mold Zero on their website, mold-0usa.com. Really handy tool to use. And most importantly, when we talk about Mold Zero, I keep reminding you, this is a company that does remediation work that is safe, that is more efficient, that is more cost efficient. It's Mold Zero. Check them out online at mold-0usa.com. You get your free estimate there. If you want to have a phone conversation, you can go to the website. You'll see the number for Baton Rouge, New Orleans, but really it doesn't matter where you are. Just call one of the numbers. You'll get to Jim or somebody with Mold Zero. They service all of South Louisiana. They've even done jobs outside of Louisiana. You want to go see pictures of the work that they do. If you want to check out the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report, you can do it at mold-0usa.com. mold-0usa.com. Tons of great resources there for you at Mold Zero. It's Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com. Okay, it's after further review. Brian Kelly met with reporters yesterday. He was also a guest on Marty and McGee at SEC Football Media Days. And this happens somewhat commonly that when you're at SEC Media Days, and for a show like Marty and McGee or any of those, the national shows that have access to literally every coach and every player that comes through, oftentimes what will happen is they'll do interviews that only get aired later down the road. They get canned and saved for later if they're not, because you can't air 50 interviews over the course of 5 days on their show. I get it. So they just released, Marty and McGee did, clips of their interview with Brian Kelly. And they asked him something that he's been commonly asked, in particular with the success of LSU's women's basketball team winning a national championship in year 2, Jay Johnson in baseball winning a championship in year 2, and so then the natural question was about Brian Kelly. Here's what BK told Marty and McGee.
Each coach at LSU understands the standards. Nobody's there looking for an easy way out. Everybody's there with the glare of championships and knowing that that's how they're going to be judged. Now, we don't operate on a day-to-day basis with that driving us. We're doing it building programs and developing our players. But we know what we got into at LSU. We know what we signed up for. And we have an AD in Scott Woodward who provides us the resources necessary to see that we are positioned accordingly. And that's why it's, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm next up.
I'm next up. Next up means 2 previous coaches in year 2 won natties. Everyone's looking at you now. Listen, I know I've been asked a bunch, does the women's basketball, baseball national championships put more pressure on Brian Kelly? And the answer is no. And that may seem silly, but when you're being paid $100 million over 10 years, you came here with the expectation and understanding that you are trying to win national championships at LSU. He knows that. Women's basketball and baseball winning doesn't put more pressure on Brian Kelly. Those are just awesome things that exist in their own ecosystem. But I mean, in 2019, when LSU won the football national championship, was anyone like, man, that was awesome, but gosh, Nicky Fargas and that team just couldn't really pull it together this year? No. They're great. Again, they exist in their own separate ecosystems. That's how it should be. So, but Brian Kelly's got a loaded gun this year, and we're going to see in just a few weeks how ready they are. All right. When we come back after we'll come back. Busel do Tigers and the Pros after the top of the hour. One of the things I want to look at is, because if you haven't heard, LSU did practice today and they practice tomorrow, but there's no media availability today or tomorrow. We will get to watch a full scrimmage on Saturday in Tiger Stadium, so we'll have plenty to tell you next week. But I want to take this opportunity to look at LSU when camp started, what we thought we knew that's either been proven or disproven, maybe surprises or disappointments to this point in camp. So there's a few positions and players that I want to touch on. We'll get to that coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. And our buddy Mike Triplett's with us from L.A. in 30 minutes, recapping Saints joint practice with the Chargers. All right, we're glad you're with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Weekend is almost upon us. It is a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. 4 locations, all 4 partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So whatever you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Remember, I know I keep saying it all this week, and it's hard to believe, but the fall stuff is here. We're past the middle of August. I mean, it is time to start planting that fall vegetable garden. They got fall bedding plants there. They've got mobucks and buckbusters. It's time to start thinking about deer season. So you can put out those plots. It's time. Clegg's has you covered. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area of Clegg's Nursery. Tell you to shop local, to buy local every single day. They've got Johnny Nagler seeds and great local products as well at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. All right, we do it every day about this time. Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Two guys who once shared a rotation at LSU shared a mound last night. It was Kevin Gausman versus Aaron Nola in Toronto. We'll start with Aaron Nola. 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned with 7 punch-outs in the ballgame. Kevin Gausman countered with 5 1/3, 7 runs, 5 earned, and 4 punch-outs in the ballgame. It was Aaron Nola who got the victory to improve to 10-8 on the year. Kevin Gausman falls to 9-7 on the season. So Nola, how about that? Nola with some run support in that one too. Huh? 9 runs for the Phillies last night and an Aaron Nola start? Shocking.
I'm pulling up Pitching Ninja. And then there's the guy painting the
for
black.
Nola.
Yeah,
Look at that, 95. You're outside corner. Paint.
Yeah.
Glove didn't even move. Alex Bregman last night. Pretty solid night at the ballpark for the Houston Astros third baseman. We'll start offensively, 2 for 5, a double, his 17th, but the big blow came in the first inning, his 19th home run of the season. And it wasn't cheap, Alex Bregman, that 19th homer. But, as Breggy tends to do, flashes the leather. Just an absolute filthy bare-hand play on a swinging bunt in the 7th inning when the Astros had it well in hand. Very ribby to cap off the night, I should say, for Alex Bregman as well.
Attaboy.
Dylan Cruz. This is just your daily Dylan Cruz update of him mashing and abusing single-A pitching. 2 for 3 last night. Both singles. Cruz drove in 2 runs as well. Drove in 1 run, scored another, and walked. He's hitting .348. His OPS is 1,075.
Is that good?
It's not bad.
Okay, good. Good to know. Glad he's doing
well. Do you
well.
move him up, or do you just let him continue to mash in single A until spring training next year?
I'd move him up because I think he's got a legit shot to make the big league roster out of spring training next year.
I agree. Dylan Cruz could go get hits right now in the major leagues.
Yeah, of
right
course
now,
he can.
he could.
Of course he can.
So
that's a bad baseball team.
It is.
So yeah, move him. Absolutely advance him. Yes.
Get him up at least to AA this year. Let him taste that.
Everyone
He's got a
always
real
said,
good shot.
Everybody that I've
training.
ever talked to who's played SEC ball, has played in the minors, always says AA is the equivalent of Friday night starting in the SEC. That people sometimes confuse, say, no, like of a Friday night starter. So imagine if every time out you're facing a Friday night guy in the SEC, that's AA ball. So how would Cruz do against that? I'd like to see that for the remainder of the year. That'd be cool.
Jake Slaughter, who we mentioned earlier, but it was a different Jake Slaughter.
Yeah, he's an offensive lineman for Florida.
At Florida, yeah. This is the Jake Slaughter who played baseball at LSU. Really solid night. 3 for 4 for the Iowa Cubs. Scored twice and drove in a run. 21st double of the season as well. How about this? Jake Slaughter was playing second base last night for the Iowa Cubs. Yeah. And Cam Sanders finished that game off for Iowa. Inning in a third in that one. Struck out a couple. Didn't allow a hit or a run. Finally, we'll wrap it up with Andrew Stevenson. 3-hit night for him, including 2 doubles, which brings him 221 doubles on the season, and 1 RBI. Golf to close us out. Sam Burns, second round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Burns through 14 holes, 1 over par right now, tied for 31st at the BMW. He's got some work to do to make the Tour Championship. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, as in Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where no matter your budget, they will always give you the Lee Michaels experience. So, gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, don't be intimidated. Just go to Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Putting a button here on hour number 2, SportsCenter staring you straight in the face. When we come back, we'll talk a little LSU camp. So far, again, final day of camp is the scrimmage on Saturday. What we've learned up until this point. We'll delve into that. Let's hear a little bit from Brian Kelly when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
You probably noticed that Alondra is here today in place of Paul O'Neill. That's because Paul O'Neill spent the day, or early part of the day today, with Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. Paulie got LASIK today. I'm fired up for him. You know, he's been preparing for this for a while now because, you know, you got to go through this whole process where you don't wear contacts for so many weeks. You have to have different, your eye has to adjust before you have the procedure. But when Paul comes back on Monday, I'm so excited to get his story and his testimonial because I just know it's going to be like so many others, like mine was. And I can remember after I had LASIK, you know, like many of you, if you wear contacts, I had this drawer in my bathroom, and it was contact lenses, you know, boxes of lenses, contact cases, travel cases, solution, my extra glasses that I'd wear when I take my contact, all that stuff. And there was a day where I realized I could just throw all of this in the trash because I'll never need it again. It's freedom. Give yourself the gift of sight. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Kendre. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Bengals running back Joe Mixon is found not guilty of aggravated menacing from a road rage incident back in January. A county judge in Ohio says the city of Cincinnati did not meet its burden to prove the case. Dolphins offensive lineman Teron Armstead carted off the practice field today with a right leg injury. He'll have further tests. Expectations are running somewhat high for the Bears this season. ESPN's Booger McFarland would like to pump the brakes.
We look at Justin Fields and we automatically pencil him in as a QB that's going to make a huge jump. I hope he does, but I haven't seen anything that's going to let me know he's going to do that.
Booger McFarland. Titans quarterback Will Levis leaves today's practice with a lower body injury. No word yet if he'll play in a preseason game against the Vikings on Saturday. Tennessee wideout Treylon Burks has a left knee sprain that could keep him out for multiple weeks. From college football, Auburn names Michigan State transfer Peyton Thorne as the Tigers' starting quarterback.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Alondra Villarreal. Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Mike Triplett joins us from L.A. in about 12 minutes from right now. Saints-Chargers had a joint practice earlier today, so we will find out everything that we missed from Mike Triplett. The good news, Kendre Miller and Andrus Peat both practiced today, and Demario Davis was back. So Saints coming to health here in week 2 of the preseason. LSU had practice today, Thursday. They practiced Friday as well, but no media availability Thursday or Friday. The next media availability will be Saturday. LSU will wrap up fall camp with a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and the media is allowed access to that scrimmage. So we'll have plenty to say after the scrimmage. I plan on taking copious notes and charting it as I would any other game, and I'll give you stats and all that good stuff. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit about, up until this point in camp, a couple of things that I think are pleasant surprises, things that are really good we've seen, and maybe some things that might be a lingering concern and what to watch moving forward. And of course, Brian Kelly has been very candid with how everything's gone and has continued to go. And when he met with reporters on Wednesday, can we start with number 10, please? He did talk about what he's hoping to get out of the scrimmage on Saturday.
We'll try to get in, somewhere around 60 to 70 plays. It's generally the biggest scrimmage in terms of live work that we'll get. We did some situational, as you saw, goal line work today. So it will be the time where we get a lot of the starters in there, get as much work as possible. And then certainly the younger guys will get the rest of the work.
As camp was starting, and as I try to evaluate where they are right now, I go back to the beginning of camp and look at my notes and say, okay, well, what were the things that we wanted to see? What maybe were the question marks? And offensively, there were few, if any, questions. You know you've got a fifth-year starter at quarterback. 6 of your top 7 offensive linemen are back. Your starting tight end is back. You've got your unquestioned top 3 receivers, and you've developed really good talent behind them with Aaron Anderson. Chris Hilton looks great. Shelton Sampson, like that's your next 3, undeniably. Everything on the offense looks good. Running back, how the running back room shakes out was a question. But really, the questions were defensively. Because LSU lost so much of its production defensively. You lost Micah Baskerville. You lost Joe Fouché. You lost both of your starting cornerbacks. You lost Jaquelin Roy in the middle. You lost B.J. Ojulari. You lost Ali Gay. I mean, you lost a ton of defensive production. Now, you got talent there, but how is it going to sort itself out? Like, coming in, we knew, look, in the interior defensive line, you got Mason Smith, you got Jacoby and Guillory, you got Mekhi Wingo, who's a returning All-American. You added 3 interior down linemen. Jordan Jefferson among them seems to be the guy that's really risen to the forefront among the transfers to be the next guy rotating in. You know, you got Savion Jones replacing Ali Gay on one side. At linebacker, you're moving Harold Perkins inside. You brought in Omar Spates. You got your 2 starters there. The real questions were who's going to play that jack spot and what does your secondary look like? Those are the big questions. And I'll tell you, the one really pleasant surprise, actually the 2 that I wrote down, was one at corner and one at safety. Ashton Stamps at corner is a really pleasant surprise. Do you realize if you go look at the 247 composite, you know how they rate like they rank all the players, of course, by position, by state, all that sort of stuff. But if you go look at the national ranking for Ashton Stamps last year when he signed with LSU, Ashton Stamps in the composite did not have a ranking. I mean, he was a 3-star who was not ranked among the national prospects. He was the 44. No, forgive me. Actually, they did update this. I must have been looking at another one. He was the number 627 player nationally in the composite. 247 did not rank him. In the composite, he was ranked. In 247's rating, he was not. So the fact that guy who signed at 6'170" comes in, has put on good weight, and is right now running as your 3rd cornerback is a really pleasant surprise. And he doesn't look lost. It's not like he's running 3rd because, well, somebody's got to run 3rd. He started from the bottom, now I'm here. He started at the bottom and has worked his way up with a lot of guys who had struggles throughout this camp in that secondary. The other is Andre Sam. And if we go back to the very first day when they were starting fall camp, that was a guy I circled and said, Andre Sam has got to play a key role on this team. Because LSU, unfortunately, does not have great numbers or experience or depth at safety. Major Burns is back, but he has been injury-prone throughout his career. Greg Brooks is best in the nickel, but if Andre Sam can't play safety and Greg Brooks has to go play safety, then Sage Ryan has to go play nickel. And if we're just being candid, when Sage Ryan has gone in place of Greg Brooks, or did last year, there was a notable drop-off. So to have everybody in their best spot, you needed Andre Sam to be a good option at safety. And so far, he has been. He has been running with the ones opposite Major Burns at safety, and that has been key for this defense. So those are the 2 pleasant surprises. Just because I'm lacking a better word to use, if things that to this point have been disappointing or maybe a concern, I think as we were looking at the defensive end of the jack spot, Savion Jones has been really good. I don't worry about that. He has been one of the guys, and maybe I should have circled him, highlighted him as one of the pleasant surprises, but he played well last year behind Ali Gay. Savion Jones physically has got himself in amazing shape, and he is built for that position, that big defensive end to take on double teams, to make plays at the line of scrimmage, to get off blocks and get TFLs. He is made for it. So I think Savion Jones is going to have a great year, y'all. Opposite him, I think we looked at, okay, we think Ovie Oghoufo is going to be the starter, but how's he going to look? And Ovie Oghoufo has looked very good to this point. Sixth-year player, of course, was with BK at Notre Dame, transferred to Texas now in his 6th year. He's playing at LSU. And he switched to jersey number 2, and he looks great at the jack spot. The real question has been backing up those two guys. The two guys who are running at the defensive end spot behind Savion Jones are Quincy Wiggins and Deshaun Womack. Both were massive recruits. And both to this point have been a bit overwhelmed. When we get to watch them do blocking drills against the one-on-ones, pass rush drills, combo blocks, whatever, keep in mind that's the right side of the line. So you're looking at Miles Frazier, Emory Jones going against those guys when they rotate through. And when it's backups, you're looking at the right side of the line with Mason Lunsford and Zalance Hurd, who's a 5-star and he's a mountain of a human. And I'm here to tell you, man, it's been tough sledding for those two guys to this point. Savion Jones looks great. Where is your depth at that left end spot is a real question. Ovie Oghoufo looks perfectly capable at the jack spot. He's not Harold Perkins. He's not B.J. Ojulari. But he's going to be a really good player there for you. Braden Swinson, I think this week, had a much better week than he did the first week and a half that we saw. The Oregon transfer. And he's backing up Ovie Oghoufo at that jack spot. So that's another one that I would tell you as well, that you'd like to keep continuing to see Braden Swinson trending up. And Swinson's a guy who came in with, we know he comes in from Oregon, and we know he's got this physical ability, right? The way he's put together, he looks the part. He's 6'4", 240. But when you look at his 2 seasons in Eugene, the production wasn't necessarily there. It was actually 3 seasons because of the COVID year in 2020, which didn't count. But 3 seasons in Eugene, 35 total tackles. In 3 seasons, he has a total of 5.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. He did not record a sack last year. In 2022 at Oregon, he had no sacks and 1.5 TFLs. Like, the production hadn't been there. So can he figure it out and come on, I think is a big one. And the other one I'll tell you is I was hoping to see at this point some separation at running back. Somebody or somebodies establish himself or themselves as 1, 2, 3, whatever way it might go. And that really hasn't happened. In part because Josh Williams has been slowed with injury. Armani Goodwin, Logan Diggs missed time this week. So I think when we get to watch the scrimmage on Saturday, we'll probably get a better sense of how those guys look when they're running against a live defense and they're actually tackling. So those are the things that I'd say I'm most looking forward to on Saturday. I want to see how your backups at end and jack look, and is there any separation there at running back? And one other thing I'll tell you to file away. I know this was an under-the-radar thing, but I want you to file it away. LSU added Aiden Corbello this week. Aiden Corbello is John Corbello's son. I think we've talked about him when he committed, as a walk-on. And to this point, hadn't been with LSU. And my understanding is they called him last week on Thursday and were like, get here, we need you at practice on Friday. It was a very sudden, abrupt thing instead of having him come at the start of school when the rest of the walk-ons would come. I'm not trying to read too much into that, but remember last year, LSU had Damian Ramos. They had Nathan Dybert, who handled kickoffs. They also had Zeke Mata. Well, Zeke Mata's not with them anymore. So you only got 2 place kickers. They added Aiden Corbello. And we saw Aiden Corbello when they were doing special teams drills, doing onside kicks and handling the kickoffs on the kickoff team. This guy has made more field goals than any in the history of Jesuit football in New Orleans. He was the best kicker in the state a year ago. But he only ever wanted to play at LSU, so if that opportunity was going to be there, wasn't going to keep kicking. Just keep an eye on that. I can't tell you I know. We don't get to see a ton of like live field goal or those types of special teams. Mostly what we're watching are the kickoff and kick coverage units. But just keep an eye on that to see if there isn't maybe some competition there for Damian Ramos with them bringing in Aiden Corbella. Just file that one away and keep an eye on it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. We're heading to L.A. Mike Triplett joins us next.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. Spell it out, onehourbr.com. If you want to check out our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. Look, the benefit of River City's 1 Hour Air, like I tell you every day, is they'll always come out nights, holidays, weekends, and they'll never charge you extra to do so. Robert Fonzo sent this 5-star Google review. He said, "We are more than satisfied with both Britt and JJ. They are very professional and knowledgeable. Both came with the same diagnosis. We went with Britt's choice outside unit. JJ installed our unit early. 7 a.m. He was done. I recommend to all the membership club and have that peace of mind." 5 stars for River City's 1 Hour Air. Another 5-star Google review. Get it right the first time with River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2640.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Mike! Yeah?
Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just
go by Mike.
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football, presented by Benny's Car Wash, family owned and operated since 1951.
All right, let's head out to Cali, land of sunshine, whatever they say. I don't know. Mike, how are you, man?
Land of sunshine and no humidity. I think that's what they say. It was like, we can't complain about the heat today because the sun was beating down on us. I think we're all going to be sunburned because we woke up and it was still in the 60s. But yeah, I'm breathing fresher air. I'm going to go run a marathon right now.
Mike, we all choose to live here, man. It's our choice. We choose to, like, you get off the plane coming home from a beautiful with like a beautiful region like that. You go, we choose to live here for many reasons. Yeah. The weather certainly not among them. Okay, hey, break down. How did they structure practice today?
Yeah, it's a good thing we had our full team out here from New Orleans Football because you had to take your pick of what you wanted to watch, and I don't even know what first choice should have been. They each had their own field for a while for walkthrough, for stretch, for individual position drills. And then when they started breaking into 1-on-1s, 7-on-7s, and 11-on-11s, it was one field was Chargers offense versus Saints defense. The other field was Saints offense versus Chargers defense. So really at one point of practice, there were like four very compelling things going on. There's the 1-on-1 pass rush drills for each side going against each side, and the 1-on-1 quarterbacks thrown to the receivers against DBs drills for each side. And they had about 8 different full team drills. They had 2 minutes, they had red zone, they packed it in. Like, so when they talk about using these practices as a replacement for playing players in the preseason game, this isn't just a light practice. They were out here doing a lot of work.
Do you subscribe to that belief, Mike, that these joint practices are more valuable than the preseason game itself?
No, I don't,
okay.
To be honest with you. Not more valuable, but I think it can be a shrewd, calculated way to, keep your players off the field and maybe a little less injury risk. The other thing you can do in these practices, you can specifically script everything you want to work on. You can do nickel downs, you can do a hurry-up 2-minute drill, you can do a red zone drill. In a game, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. You don't know that you'll ever get a red zone drill, and you certainly won't get a 2-minute drill if you don't keep your starters out there for the entire half. So it's definitely a more controlled environment. I mean, there's some things that you can never replicate in the preseason, including tackling.
Yeah.
But you've always got to weigh that. This is a really good alternative, though. We've seen a lot of teams who believe in it, and clearly Dennis Allen is a coach who believes in it. He scheduled 2 of them this year, with the Texans coming into New Orleans next week.
Let's hope there aren't any fights with the Texans. I mean, that was the big issue with them years back, right? I mean, the Saints and the Texans had to stop practicing together because it always ended in fights.
Well, they're the two. The Weather Channel did a report once where they ranked the hottest training camps in the NFL based on feels like temperature and all that, and New Orleans was actually number 2. Houston was number 1. And so the Saints are like, let's take joint practices to Houston so we can see what it feels like, even hotter. I think tempers were high for those two things.
Mike Triplett's with us. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Our visits with Mike all throughout the year brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Maybe a pleasant surprise, Mike. Kendre Miller and Andrus Peat both back at practice today. What did you observe from the two of them?
Yeah, Kendre Miller actually participated. Obviously, a great sign that what he's dealing with is very minor. DA said the other night he might even play in this game. I did not believe him when he said that, but after seeing how much work he did today, he just might. But obviously what matters most is week 1, and he's on a good track there. Andrus Peat just did walkthroughs. So did Demario Davis. Rashid Shaheed and Cesar Ruiz were in jerseys, but not pads, so they didn't do walkthrough. But each one of those guys trending in the right direction. We didn't see Taysom Hill. He was another one that Dennis Allen listed as not expecting it to be serious. But I think we are feeling pretty good that just about everyone except for maybe Landon Young is on a track to where week 1 will be no problem.
Mike, go back to Andrus Peat for a second. Is he in jeopardy? If Trevor Penning is solidified, at left tackle, you know where I'm going. And Hurst.
No, he was in jeopardy before he got hurt, man. The last week, so the 1 week of full squad minicamp, I thought it was pretty interesting that they were treating Andrus Peat and James Hurst at guard just like they're treating Alontae Taylor and Austin Adebo at cornerback. Every other day at left guard, they would get a turn. First day of training camp, it was actually Hurst, and it was Peat on the second day. So that was a wide open battle anyway. And then Peat misses 2 weeks, with injuries, and Peat has a history of injuries, and Hurst has been nothing if not available and reliable. So absolutely, if you told me to pick one right now, I'd pick James Hurst.
Yeah.
Although obviously Peat could get in that mix and win that job, and actually, it's a cliche that I always have to make fun of it for being a cliche, but it's one that I use all the time because it makes perfect sense. It's a good problem to have because we've seen this offensive line lose guys constantly over the last couple of years. I think it's been one of the top things that's derailed this team. So if you've got James Hurst or Andrus Peat who's capable of sliding over to left tackle, left guard, maybe even right tackle if needed, and the other guy can move, it's good to have one of those guys as a really experienced six-man.
What about Jimmy Graham?
I watched mostly the defense today, so I can't tell you exactly how he looked today. But, I think Jimmy Graham has looked about exactly like what you'd expect from one of the most dominant offensive weapons we've ever seen, who's spent a year and a half on football and is 36 years old. Like, he moves slower. The splash plays don't come that often, but every once in a while they throw it up to him, and no one has a chance to stop him from catching it. So I imagine that what he looks like on the practice field is exactly what their vision was for him, and that vision couldn't have been more than 15 snaps a game in a very specific role. But they have that vision for him, and I think he can catch some passes in some big moments in that plan. But, yeah, it's not like we're watching him and oohing and ahhing and saying he looks like he's 24 years old or anything like that.
Mike, the reason I keep going back to it is I just look and say, how do you justify, provided Taysom is listed as an air quotes tight end, how do you keep a fourth tight end, especially when you're going to keep a third quarterback with Jake Haener, provided they're keeping Jake Haener, which I think they will. So, how do you have room for the, where are you thin in order to keep a third quarterback and a fourth tight end?
Well, four tight ends is not unusual at all. But what is unusual is three of those four tight ends will be quote-unquote receiving tight ends.
Right.
Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, and Jimmy Graham. Yeah. A lot of times that fourth one is doing a lot of blocking and playing special teams and maybe can be the fullback. And you're right. It would be three pass-catching tight ends. So, it's tough, but it's a specialized role. I mean, it's the same as anyone else. A lot of teams keep five running backs. The Saints have never been one of those teams. It's a particular role that they thought was a deficiency last year. Third and short, red zone. They did not feel like they had enough guys for those situations. And so that's a role they're willing to give a 12-snap-a-player game or a 15-snap-a-player game, or at least they're willing to experiment with the concept. That would be at the expense of, somebody who's only on the team to play special teams or something like that, I imagine. But there are some back-end spots on this roster. They don't have Dwayne Washington, who used to be, a mainstay on the roster because of special teams. They don't have Chase Hansen, who used to do that. They don't have Daniel Sorensen, who did that last year. So there's a little room for jockeying on the roster.
Maybe a linebacker?
Linebacker, safety, and corner in general. When I do my next 53-man roster, which I don't know when I'm going to do it next, but I have 8 safeties that are all making a case. And now that they've added Jalen Smith at linebacker, you're right. There's 6 or 7 linebackers. I think Darren Rizzi's going to have a lot to say with those decisions.
Okay. Mike, give me something or maybe a few bullet points Sunday night when they tee it up and kick it off. What are you looking for, maybe hoping to see?
Yeah, I had some good ones for the last game. I even wrote a whole article, one thing for every quarter that I couldn't wait to see. This one's a little tougher to judge because I don't know who we're going to see.
Okay.
The ones that still come to mind, Trevor Penning. I don't know if we're going to get to see Trevor Penning go against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack in the game, but they're going to give Trevor Penning snaps. He needs them. I mean, we've talked about this before, Matt. He's the one guy in this roster. Well, I would say him and Michael Thomas are the two guys on this roster that could be anywhere from exceptional to, disappointing. Like the gamut for what they could be is so huge. Trevor Penning could, I think at the baseline, I feel pretty good about him being out there if he stays healthy. But there's also the possibility that he gets really, really good once he gets all these snaps under his belt. So every snap he gets is worth watching. And then the same for the young guys on the defense that we'd like to see a spark from. First-round picks, Brian Brzee, Peyton Turner. Yeah. The first-round picks who are going to play in this game is probably my number one answer.
He is Mike Triplett on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Check out their Twitter. There's a great gallery of photos and videos from practice today out in L.A. Sunscreen tomorrow, Mike. Sunscreen, protect against sunburn and enjoy the beautiful weather.
I used to live out near Lake Tahoe, and sometimes it was hot while you were skiing. The sun can still be hot.
The sun, quote Mike Triplett, the sun
can still be hot.
The sun can still be hot. Put it on his tombstone in about 50 years from now, when you leave the earth, Mike. Not anytime soon. Thank you. As always, we appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. Be well. Our conversations every week with Mike are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. I rolled through Benny's this morning. As a result of doing this segment with Mike a year ago, I kept talking about the Benny's membership club, and I went and joined. It's one of the best investments that I made. I think I spend $16 a month, which is the entry thing. Now, you can go higher where they'll do, full-on interior detailing, and that's $44.99 a month. Yeah, mine is the Express Wash is $16.99 a month. So you can either roll through, and every time you do, you spend, $8-10 on a car wash, or get the unlimited Express Wash for $16.99, and every time you roll through, you have a little sticker. It just scans your sticker, the arm goes up, and you roll through the car wash. I could not recommend it highly enough at Benny's Car Wash. Get on by at bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com. You can see all the membership clothes. Just roll into a Benny's. Look for the big green Benny sign. You know where they all are. Just roll into one of the Benny's, and when you go through, tell one of the attendants you want to join the wash club, get one of their memberships. So it's at Benny's Car Wash, bringing you our conversation with Mike Triplett all throughout the year. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, and we'll roll along here. Man, I still got a lot to get to. More of what Brian Kelly had to say. Lane Kiffin bemoaning NIL yet again. Mattress Mac making moves. Speaking of Mattress Mac, what a segue to talk about DraftKings. There has to be something there, right? With Mattress Mac talking about DraftKings?
Sure, I just had no idea where you were going.
What is Mattress Mac betting on now, Muse? What's he betting on now? Some college football.
The World Series is going to come out, some college football.
No, you sent me the link. What is something about him betting like a survivor pool or something?
Yeah, football survivor pool.
Well, if you want to bet on football, go to DraftKings. If you want to bet on football futures bets, go to DraftKings. But y'all, this Saturday, UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, bantamweight championship of the world. Put your money on Sterling. But it doesn't even matter if he wins. Because if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge, if you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, promo code Baton Rouge, one word, Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet on UFC 292. It's a $5 bet on UFC 292. I didn't snap loud enough. $150 in bonus bets instantly. Boom. Even if you're wrong. But bet on Sterling. But the great thing about the UFC and MMA is that you never know what can happen, man. 16-ounce gloves. You could get sleeped. I'm fired up for UFC 292. You want to get even more excited about it? Bet on it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Promo code Baton Rouge. $5 bet for new customers. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly only at the DraftKings Sportsbook.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
All right, y'all. It's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. I got to find that. Did you email me the Mattress Mac? Oh, there it is. I see.
Yeah, I emailed it to you.
Okay. There's the Mattress Mac story. So what did he do? Old Mattress Mac went and 20. Let's see. What's he doing? 20. Let's see. It's a Football Friday Invitational, $25,000 in prize money, 8 contestants in the 16 handicapper field. All right. Look at Mattress Mac. What a don. I mean, look at that guy just with this picture on this tweet.
Good.
It's like Mattress Mac at a sports book, and he's just got a pyramid of cash
Hundreds, too.
Of hundos.
Yeah.
It's just a pyramid of hundos. What a G.
He's so good.
Remember
the wheelbarrow when he literally
Yes. Do I remember it?
unloaded money from a plane in a wheelbarrow?
It's what is $7 million in cash or something like
like
that? In a wheelbarrow onto his PJ.
Yeah.
I'm taking this wheelbarrow of cash to go buy another PJ is what I'm doing. Mattress Mac, what a guy. All right, it's after further review. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouses, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, and Rouses in Houma on MLK is now open. Yesterday was opening day of the newest Rouses location, and we're fired up to tell you about it. So get on by the Rouses location if you're listening down there in the Bayou region, 2233 MLK Boulevard in Houma. It's open there. It's Rouses, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, where they always got deals for you. Hey, I tell you all the time also, make sure you check for the Rouses branded products. They do such a great job of sourcing local. Like right now, you can get their full line of Rouses vegetarian-fed chicken for 25% off. It's USDA grade A chicken. It's raised by American farm families. It's vacuum sealed for freshness, recommended by their registered dietitians. It's at Rouses. Look for the Rouses branded stuff, all the Rouses branded products when you get to Rouses. Rouses, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota Camry for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota Camry for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
I mean, I've gotten this question a lot. Andy Ortiz via the text line. You can always text me too. That was good, right? Wait, hold on. Like, you laughed over there, Alondra.
No, I don't know why. It's just...
Was it good?
No, it was good. It just makes me laugh when people do that.
Andy Ortiz?
Yeah.
Ortiz.
Yeah, it was really good.
I rolled my R.
Yeah,
Ortiz.
it was good. I like it.
Eyes, E. Ortiz.
Very good.
Say Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Say Ortiz.
No, you said it right.
Say Ortiz.
Ortiz.
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
sound the same.
Yeah.
Don't need any cackling over there from the peanut gallery. I took 3 years of Spanish at Catholic and 2 semesters in college. I'm basically Spanish.
We could do the whole show in Spanish.
Nope, can't do that. So Andy Ortiz texted and said, hey, can you comment if Jaden Daniels has been aggressive this offseason? No, I can't, Andy. I would love to tell you that, but there's 2 main things here. Number one, I hate fan narratives, and I hate when things get caught up in the fan echo chamber where you convince yourself of something and then all you do is pay attention to the validating information. We talked about this a ton during the LSU baseball season, whether it was the bullpen or whatever it may have been. And you tend to ignore any evidence to the contrary and only focus on the things that supports whatever your belief may be. So were there times last year where you would have liked to have seen Jaden Daniels push the ball downfield? Sure, that's okay. But he was also behind an offensive line that was a sieve for much of the season. Your quarterback was your leading rusher. I mean, and your margin was so thin you couldn't turn the ball over. So I'm glad he wasn't out there slinging it, throwing double-digit interceptions, because if he was, instead of being 9-3 and playing in the SEC championship game, you're probably more like 7-5 and playing in the Weed Eater Bowl. So I think context matters and you have to consider it. The other part of it is I'll know much better on Saturday when they scrimmage. We've gotten to see him do 11 on 11, but usually it's situational 11 on 11. Like, here's your 2-minute offense, where they got a scripted sequence of plays or whatever it may be. We've seen him throw the ball downfield, absolutely. When we watched 11 on 11 on Wednesday of this week, the play of the day was a deep ball that Jaden threw down the right sideline to Kyron Lacey when he beat Deuce Chestnut. It was or not, it might have been Zy Alexander. I don't want to call it the wrong guy, but anyway, it was a beautiful deep ball that he threw. But I just think is Jaden more aggressive thing is a fan narrative in conversation. Were there times last year where yes, I mean, most notably the Tennessee game where Brian Kelly ripped him when he came to the sideline, but that was one of those plays where there was a defensive, it was offside. You had a free play. Let it go. Don't throw it away. Throw it downfield. Maybe you get a penalty. Something. I get that. But I also think you ignore the fact that the guy threw for 2,900 yards and 17 touchdowns and was really good for the bulk of the season. I mean, it's almost like it's become akin to what we saw from, like, people convince themselves it's almost like what it was like with Jordan Jefferson in 2009, where just everyone was terrified to throw the ball to the other team that they just didn't throw the ball because Les refused to get beat by interceptions again. It's not that. I mean, he threw for 2,900 yards last year. It was the 5th highest passing season ever in LSU history. Only Burrow, Rohan, Mettenberger, and Jamarcus had better seasons individually than Jaden Daniels did last year throwing the football. Context matters, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that. All right, it's after further review. But look, let me go watch. We'll go watch on Saturday. We'll see a full scrimmage in Tiger Stadium with tackling and all this sort of stuff. I'll have a much better idea of what it looks like. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. And for our Lafayette audience, Southwest Volkswagen. Shout out to all of our friends listening on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, remember the great German engineering, manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. It's South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Because they move so much inventory, they can give you a better price. I'm thrilled. I mean, I've driven a Passat, a CC, an Atlas, now an Atlas Cross Sport. Erica drives an Atlas. We're thrilled. We are a Volkswagen family. Stylish, affordable, luxurious, and safe. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Lane Kiffin's at it again, bemoaning NIL. Here he was with Marty and McGee.
I think kind of accepting that you're going to not have phenomenal culture doesn't mean I don't work on it, but I think I have to realize, like, hey, it just is what it is. One, we don't have many kids that are dying to be here. Like, they didn't grow up wanting to go to Ole Miss. Like, these transfer kids are like, they're going to a place that fits them best at that time. It's not about the school. And they're not on their third, fourth, fifth year with you to where, like, hey, they know how we do it. They know the expectations, the culture, the other players. Unfortunately, now it's like plug and play.
He was also asked why he's so blunt on NIL.
I do that because you guys tell me, like, afterwards when I kind of do those State of the Union, like how appreciative you are, or like I see fans or players, parents or recruits, and they're like, wow, thank you. We didn't really know that's what's really happening because no other coach talks like that.
Lane Kiffin said the joy is not the same around college football with NIL. If the joy isn't the same around college football because of NIL, that's a you problem. And I'm going to point out yet again, the only group of people, singular, that openly and routinely complains and criticizes NIL are the millionaire coaches, because it's inconveniencing to them. They are control freaks. They want to control everything about everything within their program, and they can't control when a player comes, when a player goes, if a player's making money, all that. They lose control, and that's why they push against it. But I will continue to say, can anyone give a logical reason as to why a player who has, a person who has market value should not be allowed to capitalize on their market value in anything they do? And to this point, I've still yet to get a logical answer that speaks to the contrary. I get a lot of culture with Lane. Oh, it's culture. And if you tell me about an education, I'm going to throw that right back in your face, because there's plenty of kids on scholarship at universities, academic and otherwise, who can go make money if they want. Why should someone who's getting a massive return for a school not be allowed to make money on their name? It is fundamentally absurd. It's just the coaches. That's it. The coaches are the ones that are inconvenienced. The coaches are the ones that push back against it. All right. It's after further review. We'll knock out our final break. Come back, do some otter locks with Jimmy. Stick around, Save Our.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We're checking. So Otter is at his son's scrimmage. So he sent us the plays. Muse, do you want to weigh in here? The first he says,
which one?
The first he says he's got a super play, 4 times your normal play on the Diamondbacks. So whatever you'd bet, he's basically saying multiply your play by 4 and bet on Arizona tonight. I would love an explanation as to why. They're playing the Padres, and Rich Hill is on the bump for San Diego. Clearly, Zach Gallen against Rich Hill, but that game is in San Diego. Why in the world would he be so high? Is he just that low on Rich Hill?
I think, and that high on Zach Gallen. I mean, that's the ace for Arizona, but doesn't that line feel kind of stinky? I mean, because it feels like Arizona should be a road favorite in that game, and they're not.
The Arizona is a road favorite.
I'm looking at.
They're 1.5 on the run line. They're
on the run
-1.5
line.
on the
Okay.
run line.
Well, wait,
on
so
the
money line or run line?
Money line.
Okay.
So, but they're -108 in the money line. That's what I assumed he was saying was money line.
Yeah.
So -108 on the money line.
He's going Gallen there. I mean, that's.
I played it.
Yeah, that's the play is Zach Gallen.
We'll see. And I am not. You know where I am right now with Jimmy and his baseball bets.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at San Diego minus $1.15 right here. So I guess it's an almost even line there.
You're talking about on the money line?
Yeah.
Because that's what pays to shop. DraftKings is at 108. So Otter always says it pays to shop. DraftKings has the best number right now. The other thing that he texted us is, and the Mets, Profit versus Wainwright before he retires.
Look, old man Wainwright's been pretty awful this year. It's not been good.
So there are your plays. So a heavy play says super play 4 times your normal on Arizona.
4 times your normal bet.
Get rich, kids. We're brought to you by Michele Weighing and Measurement. You want to weigh out those wagers, Muse? Michele can do it with their scales. You want to measure your winnings in gold bars? Get a calibrated scale from Michele. Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. Offices from sea to shining sea. They are hiring as well. They've got a great program as well for military veterans that are transitioning back into civilian life. Or maybe you're still enlisted, or maybe you're already in a civilian. Michele wants to talk to you. It's Michele Weighing and Measurement. Check them out at Michele.com, Michele.com. 76 years. It's Michele Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online again at Michele.com. All right, that's going to do it for us here. Dare I ask what we learned? No, don't. Okay, don't worry, Muse. I won't ask you a question. Just sit over there and count me down. All right, Alondra, thanks for filling in. Paul's back on Monday, so Alondra's back tomorrow as well. A Friday edition of AFR. We'll look for you then. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, let me run you about Traction. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made. You know, sometimes I think it is important to step back and recognize great business owners that contribute to our community. And what Mac Chiwilli has built over at Traction certainly deserves to be applauded. What a resource that has been for young athletes in South Louisiana. Traction right there on Burbank. It's an amazing campus that, it's so it is so state-of-the-art and world-class and first-class. Professional athletes from different sports from all over the country come to Traction in their offseason to train at that facility with those trainers. But that's something that your son or daughter is afforded in their sport. You may say, it sounds expensive. Check it out. Small group sports-specific training is available at Traction, and it is so much more affordable than you may think. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years.